I was 13 the first time I saw the woman in white. It was on the 7th night after my grandfather, Lotana, died. I remember because they said I was too young to attend the night vigil at the family compound, but I snuck out anyway. I couldn't sleep, not with all the stories Grandpa had poured into my ears over the years. He told them like memories, not fairy tales. And the one that haunted me the most was the story of Adaobi and the bleeding tree. Grandpa said some wounds don't close, even when the bleeding stops. He was buried close to the Ojugo tree, the same sacred tree that once wept blood. People still avoided it. The younger generation didn't talk much about it, but the older ones never walked past it after dark. I used to sit near it just listening, hoping to hear something. I never did until that night the woman didn't speak. She just stood beside the tree, her hands folded over her belly, her white wrapper fluttering even though the wind had died. Her face was hidden by a veil, but I knew it was her. Something in my chest told me. Adaobi blinked and she was gone. After Grandpa's burial, I started to dream about her. Every night, I'd see flashes, running feet through the forest, the sound of weeping, blood on bark, a child's faint cry. I told Mama and she told me to pray, but prayer didn't stop the dreams. So I went to the one person who might understand, Uncle Tobena, my mother's brother. He was a teacher in the village, a thoughtful man who respected the old ways even though he'd been to the city. When I told him, he looked at me for a long time, then nodded. I think she's calling you, he said. He helped me gather everything: kola nuts, white cloth, and a small carved figure to serve as a voice for the voiceless. Together, we went to the Ojugo tree at dawn. There we sat, we listened, and for the first time, I heard something. A soft hum, a lullaby I'd never learned, but somehow knew by heart. It came from within the tree. Uncle Tobena pulled out a small bundle of old letters he had found in our grandfather's chest. He handed them to me. I read them aloud. They were letters Adaobi had written to Echezona, hidden away, never delivered. Love letters, fears, prayers for a different life. The last one was a cry for help. I wept, and then the wind stirred, and the bark of the tree split just a little, and something fell out. A small locket carved from ivory with two names etched inside, Adaobi and Echezona. Inside was a tiny dried flower, still intact after all those years. We took the locket to the village council. That moment stirred something in Umuokwe. The elders called for a gathering. The story was retold, but this time it wasn't just a story of shame and sorrow. It became a story of love, silenced by pride. The village priest suggested that Adaobi's resting place be properly marked, not hidden under a tree, but honored. A small shrine was built beside Ojugo with her name engraved for the first time. And every year since then, on the night of the first new moon after harvest, we gather under that tree. We light a small fire. We sing that same lullaby I heard in my dream. We tell her story, not as a curse, but as a warning, a memory, and a light. Some say they still see her walking the edge of the compound in white, but she no longer cries. I am grown now. I teach history at the village school. And whenever one of my students asks about the woman in white, I smile and sit them down. Then I say, let me tell you a true story, one that begins with a tree that bled at night.